Do not add these traps off of the waiver wire in week 2. There are real blossoming breakout players that you need to pick up, the next Puka Nacua, and you do not want to be wasting your very little chances in the early weeks of football on absolute duds that all of your league mates will clown you for. This is the only place you're going to find the do not add list on YouTube, so hit that subscribe button if you like this style of video. But I don't waste time. Cole Kmet needs to be left on your waivers. I know it's a kind of a crazy take. He's rostered in 70% of leagues. I guarantee you that will drop so much this week, and if it doesn't, whoever has him they're just doing nothing. They're sitting on their hands and they want to lose fantasy. If he finds himself on your waivers now or after this week, leave him there. I don't know how we've gotten to this point. All preseason he was splitting snaps with Gerald Everett. We noticed this. We talked about it. Nobody wanted to believe it. You have an insane amount of target competition. Rome Odunze, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore. And you need Caleb Williams to be a perfect quarterback if you want all of these guys to be feasting, as well as Cole Kmet to be viable every single week. What did we see last week? Caleb Williams put up 93 yards. He did not look great. I will be fair. Rookie quarterbacks typically start slow. In the back half of the season, he will 1000% improve. But that's not happening right now, and there's a ton of competition. He can't even be the #1 tight end at his own position. I'll go over this quick because I talk about it way too much. A fully healthy Cole Kmet with more years of experience in this Bears offense compared to Gerald Everett comes out, again, fully healthy in the first week of the season, plays 12 out of the 33 potential snaps for the tight end position. What are we doing? And what I like to say around here, he is a part-timer. He's a part-timer. He doesn't play the full snaps of the game. If you want to give it one more week, you say Caleb Williams is going to get better. He's going to whatever. I don't care. Do what you want. He's not going to be a guy with actual high upside that we want to be rostering throughout the entirety of the season. And speaking of those actual high upside guys, I just posted a video of the top waiver wire sleepers for this week. I guarantee you should check that out. I promise it'll be worth your time because there are a ton of good actual tight end options out on the waivers right now. I have one of them in that video. You can go check that out. And second, do not pick up Alec Pierce. The downfall of most fantasy football players is they look, oh, I see fantasy point, I grab fantasy point, and they just go for the fantasy point. It doesn't work. I guarantee you have to look at the numbers, you have to look at the statistics, the snap percentages, and the target usage. You look at Alec Pierce, yes, he put up 21 fantasy points. It looks tempting, 125 yards and a touchdown. But all of that was only off 3 catches. Now, I will be fair. Anthony Richardson only completed 9 passes on the day. That is not going to happen. That's very unlike him and this offense. It was weird. They were slipping all over the field, whatever. But again, we have to look into the numbers. Pierce ran 21 routes. Pittman ran 21. A.D. Mitchell ran 18. This is all tied up. And while Alec Pierce did look good with his targets, we have Josh Downs coming back into this offense, who is another great deep threat. A.D. Mitchell isn't bad at that either. Anthony Richardson's play style is downfield throws, which is why Michael Pittman is a little bit lower down my rankings and why he didn't have a great game today, because his game is the slot. His game is the mid route work. Anthony Richardson just doesn't target that very often. He either runs it or slings it halfway down the field, which is why Alec Pierce did good today. But if Josh Downs is coming back, I expect A.D. Mitchell to start inclining his usage while Alec Pierce is declining his usage. In his very first game as a rookie, A.D. Mitchell almost tied everybody, even Michael Pittman, in routes run. That's going to increase. It's going to continue. But Josh Downs coming back in this offense is pushing Alec Pierce to the wide receiver 3 and 4. He's had enough time in this offense to prove himself. He's had a couple years without that much target competition outside of Michael Pittman. Hasn't looked amazing with it. It was a great game. By far, some amazing catches. But again, use the waivers in week 1 in these early weeks to grab actual high upside guys that we can see a path to in the later weeks. But very quickly, keeping it on the running backs here, if you have or see Samaje Perine on the waiver wire, go ahead and leave him there. Week 1 was all we needed to see that Isaiah Pacheco is this workhorse running back and nobody else is coming close. Some people would say that Samaje Perine had the receiving work. He was going to get that Jerick McKinnon type of role. It didn't end up happening. Perine only saw 8 snaps compared to Isaiah Pacheco at 43 and then Carson Steele at 5. So it's not even like he was the clear RB2. It's Isaiah Pacheco and everybody else. And then you have the case, even if Pacheco were to get injured, you're going to have CEH coming back into this offense eventually. He is removed from the team for mental reasons. He should be coming back eventually in this season, but if he doesn't, they drafted Carson Steele for a reason. He probably won't even be the RB1. But another one of these tight ends we need to be leaving off the waivers. I will keep this short again because I don't think any of you guys, I think we're all smart enough to not pick him up. It's Mike Gesicki, and I've seen a lot of hype around this guy, and I guess I see the appeal. He had 4 targets, 3 catches. He got a touchdown called back that was actually very cool, very amazing. It was a nice catch, but he dropped it. It didn't work out. But if he were to have caught that touchdown, he would be even more of a trap, and I promise you everybody would go be picking him up. And this is another situation where we just have to be realistic. They don't have T. Higgins. Jamar Chase wasn't a full Jamar Chase. He was restricted a little bit. And the Bengals just do not target their tight ends. It just has never happened with Irv Smith, with any of these other guys. So looking at the statistics, it is a very low chance that Mike Gesicki actually gets viable in fantasy football where we can feel comfortable starting him. Because after all, we're using our bench for high upside guys to hopefully be able to start them one day or use them as trade bait. nobody's trading for a tight end because they probably already have a decent one enough, and they look one-to-one value and say, Mark Andrews is better than Mike Gesicki. I know he had a bad game, but I'm not doing that. And there's no way you're going to be starting him over some of these other waiver wire tight ends like Colby Parkinson, like Isaiah Likely, even Cade Otton I would start over him. Who are some other guys? Taysom Hill. I'd way rather be using my bench on guys like Tank Bigsby, Greg Dortch, guys that are probably projected less points than Mike Gesicki, but actually have upside or value in this week like Greg Dortch does. But next up, maybe a group of players that a lot of people are overhyping and have been increasing in waiver wire priority. It is the Vikings wide receivers, and specifically Jalen Nailor, and this comes because of the injury to Jordan Addison. Now, it doesn't look like it's serious, but the only concern I do have with this is that he's dealing with the same ankle that he was dealing with earlier in the year, and that's kind of scaring me. And by earlier in the year, I mean preseason and before. But I'm recording this video on Monday night. As of right now, it looks like he should be able to play. Maybe if he does, he's going to be a little bit restricted here and there, but if he doesn't, I'm still not taking any of these Vikings wide receivers. Sam Darnold looks to be able to support the guys he needs to support and nobody else. It's honestly a common theme with a good amount of teams in the NFL, like the Bengals. They'll support their top guys, and everybody else, it's a complete free-for-all for like 4 targets total that everybody's trying to get. Even if Addison misses the entirety of the season, we're not picking up Jalen Nailor. We're not picking up Brandon Powell, who was supposed to be the wide receiver 3 behind those two guys, but ended up playing 57% of the snaps and split with Nailor. It's a messy situation. I don't like it. Sam Darnold's cool. Not good enough to make him a guy I want to pick up. But another guy a lot of people are picking up off waivers, and I actually see the vision here, it's probably a better pickup than all these other guys, is Jordan Akins. And the main reason for this, obviously, the David Njoku injury. He's dealing with a high ankle sprain, it looks like. Now, again, I'm recording this video on Monday night, so the news might come out later, expecting to be around Thursday. But high ankle sprains usually take a good amount of time to recover from. Again, it depends on how serious the ankle sprain is. It could be a week, it could be 3. He's already been deemed week to week, which kind of insinuates he's not going to play in week 2 here. And after he left the game, Akins played 57% of the snaps, had 4 targets. But the general consensus of the fact is if Deshaun Watson was good at football, he'd be a fine add. But he's not. Deshaun Watson has not been the Deshaun Watson we've been waiting for him to be. I've given him the benefit of the doubt, and I'm like, you know what? Do your thing. You're probably going to get better over this offseason. If it doesn't happen now, it's never going to happen, and it looks like it's never going to happen. If he could even support his wide receiver 1 in Amari Cooper, then maybe I'd consider it. But he cannot play football. He cannot support any fantasy players. And it sucks because the Browns get a matchup against the Jaguars, which is pretty good for everybody. I mean, Amari Cooper should be startable. Jerry Jeudy should be a fringe start, but Deshaun Watson's just not good, and he can't support these guys. I will be going into my starts and sits later in the week as well, so if you guys do want to be here for that, make sure you are subscribed. But one player that is a little bit lower down the rankings that I am seeing a lot of people start to hype up and move up in the waiver priority is Tre Tucker. Now, this is more of a season-long ad. I guess I could see where this is coming from, but again, we're taking players to be on our bench that can actually have season-long upside. Let me get into this. There is no way on this earth that Tre Tucker should get anywhere near our starting lineups. If we're debating maybe starting Terry now because of the whole Jaden Daniels can't throw and Amari Cooper, how are we seeing upside for Tre Tucker? Gardner Minshew is not an amazing quarterback, and he's behind Devontae Adams, he's behind Jacoby Myers, he's behind Brock Bowers, even Michael Mayer in target competition. It doesn't make any sense. This team runs a ton of 2 tight end sets now with Brock Bowers and Meyer, which for the team I love. I think it's a very good idea. They have 2 amazing tight ends for their age at least and for what they can do. It helps the pass protect, it helps the run game, but that means 1 less wide receivers on the field, and they're not taking Devontae Adams off the field, they're not taking Jacoby Myers off the field, so it puts Tre Tucker in an even less favorable position. Again, maybe if you're in a dynasty league, it can make sense. Tre Tucker's just not a guy we need to be rostering though. And finally, I'm just going to throw this one at you. I don't know who's considering this. I know 100% of you guys watching this video are too smart to even do this. Do not pick up Malik. I don't care if you're in a 2 QB league, a 3 QB league, leave him on the waivers. Jordan Love is not going to be playing this week, and it sucks because, again, it's a pretty decent matchup they have. It should be a pretty good offensive-oriented game against the Colts. He has the weapons. He has Jaden Reed that put up 30 fantasy points. I think it was the wide receiver 1 in fantasy football for week 1. He has a bunch of these other guys. Josh Jacobs can even help him. He's a rushing quarterback, but he's just simply not good enough. He's not going to be startable. He's not a Justin Fields. He's not a Jaden Daniels. It's going to be ugly. Leave him on your waivers. I know you guys won't do that, though. I just wanted to leave you with that. I appreciate you guys watching this video. I will be dropping more videos throughout the week, so make sure you are subscribed for that. You guys are amazing. Thank you for watching this, and I'll see you in the next one.